It's okay not to upgrade. Take a deep breath, take a step back, it's gonna be fine. It's just a phone, you will survive, you'll make it through this, I promise. The reason why I want to go on this rant is there was recently an Apple event. And at this event, they announced the iPhone 15, iPhone 15 Pro, all those iterations, the Apple Watch Ultra 2, the AirPods Pro 2 with USB, a bunch of stuff. And I saw a general consensus from the online tech influencer community, the tech content creator community. And the consensus was, that's a bit boring. That's a bit boring. And it was mixed with, maybe anger isn't the right word, annoyance. Boring mixed with annoyance that the upgrades from the 14 to 15 were not greater. That the upgrades from the Apple Watch Ultra to the Ultra 2 were not greater. And on one hand, I get that, because as a content creator, what do you want? Something that allows you to make content. And when the upgrades are minimal and boring and quality of life upgrades, there's not much to discuss. There's nothing hyperbolic to make a video about. Hey, there's a new color. Hey, they changed the material. Hey, the camera's slightly better and it's a little bit more reliable with a better battery. That's boring. So you want something that is groundbreaking, revolutionary technology, because with that, you can have an engaging title. You can also make tutorials. You can make videos about all the issues this new technology has. But with those boring upgrades, you don't get that. So I understand from the tech influencer side of things, that's why you're annoyed that the upgrades weren't greater. But from the consumer side of things, who cares? Who cares if it is a boring upgrade? If the upgrades from 14 to 15 and Ultra to Ultra 2 were not revolutionary, the average consumer most likely is not upgrading every single year. For myself, I have been using the iPhone X from 2017 to 2023, and I did just finally upgrade, and I got the iPhone 15 Pro. For me, the upgrade is incredible. Much better cameras, much better speeds, much better everything from the 10 to the 15 Pro. So if you're following every single year, yes, it may be a boring iterative update. But for the average consumer who is going from the 10, the 10S, the 11, 12 to the 15, 15 Pro, they're gonna love it. But I wanted to take a moment and to remind you of something. You do not need to upgrade every single year. You do not need the latest and greatest phone. You do not need the latest and greatest computer. I know there are outliers. If you're working in some visual graphics warehouse where you need the latest and greatest because your time is hundreds of dollars an hour, and the latest and greatest computer or phone is going to shave off 30 minutes every day, then yes, you do need the latest and greatest. I am talking about the average consumer. And the average consumer does not need to upgrade every year, not even every 2 years or 3 years or 4 years even. The iPhone X was still functioning perfectly fine for me. I just had a few issues. Number one, the battery life was absolute trash. The battery section of this said replace the battery, and I tried to get it replaced. Apple wouldn't do it because I guess they don't make it anymore. Also, a few apps that I use were no longer supported on the iPhone X. And the final nail in the coffin is the iPhone X did not get iOS 17. So I would no longer be getting operating system updates. Now, I got 6 years out of this, so I got a lot of use out of it. And the way that I approached it is the day that I bought the iPhone X, I started saving again. Every month, I put some money away into a separate account so that when the iPhone X died, when it came time to retire it and upgrade, I had some money set aside to buy the next phone. That made it a lot less painful because I had money for this specific use case. I didn't have to finance it. I didn't have to stress about it. And that's the benefit of getting a phone and using it for as long as possible. Getting a computer and using it as long as possible. I used my iMac from 2017 to 2023 as well. And I did the same thing. As soon as I bought the iMac, I started saving so that I had some money set aside, a little nest egg, that's not the right term, a little bucket of money, so that I could upgrade when I needed to. And that's something that I think a lot of people can adopt. That is a practice that is extremely beneficial. It goes back to this depression saying that I have been really focusing on lately. I have it written on the whiteboard right above my work laptop, right above my work desk. It is use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. You understand why that's a depression-era saying. And a lot of us have bad financial habits. We have bad spending habits where we feel that we are owed the latest and greatest, that we deserve the latest and greatest, that our lives will be markedly improved with the latest and greatest. And in many cases, that isn't the case. The latest and greatest will not have a market improvement upon our lives. The only reason I went for the 15 Pro is I wanted the highest quality components so that I can hopefully get another 6 or 7 years of use out of it. And when you amortize the cost of this, which I hate how expensive it is, it becomes more affordable. Not affordable, but more affordable because it's still an expensive proposition to say, yeah, you're going to go ahead and pay $200 a year to use this phone. So it's still not cheap. But that's how I approach it, and I think that's a mentality that a lot of us need to start adopting. Use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. Buy something and use it until it is gone, until it is run into the ground, and then instead of replacing it, try to repair it. I replaced the battery in my iPhone X 3 years into it. And then I got an additional 3 years of use out of it. With my iMac, I was ready to upgrade in 2020 because it was running so slow. How did I get 3 more years of use out of it? I reformatted the computer and reinstalled just what I needed. That's something that we can all adopt. And I think we would be better off for it financially and morally, ethically, and it benefits us in a lot of different ways. So I just wanted to share that with you. Now, I'm going to admit something because I am an online tech influencer, a tech influencer. I just called myself an influencer. But a lot of times we forget who our audience is, or we forget who the general consumer is, the average consumer is. The average consumer does not buy a new iPhone every single year. They are upgrading every 2, 3, 4, 6 years. So the upgrades from the 10 to the 15 Pro are massive. It isn't a boring upgrade. It is a great upgrade from what they are using. Somebody who is researching a $25 microphone is not listening as critically as somebody who would be buying a $3,600 microphone. So, Bandrew, you need to cool it and calm down and quit being so hyper-duper extra super extra critical, because that person who is looking at the XM8500 is not looking for U87 quality. So cool your tits, man. Cool down. Stop it. Stop being so negative. And I had to take a step back and realize this. I shouldn't be reviewing a $50 microphone the same as I'm reviewing a $3,000 microphone. I should put it through the same tests. I should definitely still point out the cons, but I need to remind myself, I need to remember and understand the person buying a $50 microphone, a $20 microphone, a $100 microphone is very different. They have very different expectations than somebody who is buying a $3,000 microphone. The person who is upgrading from the 14 to 14 Pro to the 14S, 15 Pro every single year, that's not the average consumer, and their expectations are vastly different than the average consumer who upgrades from the 10 to to the 15, from the iMac 2017 to the Mac Studio. Very, very different. And I just wanted to take this moment to remind you as a consumer, just like myself, it's okay. You don't need to upgrade every year. Use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. And to all of my fellow tech content creators slinging that tent, remember the average consumer. That's who we are serving. You may want something groundbreaking, revolutionary, exciting because you're reviewing stuff that is very similar every single year. But keep in mind who you're actually making the videos for. You're not making the videos to benefit yourself. You're making your videos to benefit somebody researching that item. John Prosser from Front Page Tech always talks about this, or he used to. I don't know if he still does, but he used to talk about the average consumer is going to love this phone. All of the perpetually online tech people are very hypercritical, and I love that. I love that. The audio people, I love how critical we can be, how we dive into the minutia. But the average consumer doesn't give a heck. They could not care less about the difference between the Blue Yeti and the U87. They may not even hear a difference, so of course they're not going to care. That's the end of the rant. I just wanted to share that and get that off of my chest because I saw some very weird takes, some entitlement almost, and it was strange to behold. How dare you make us buy a new watch every single year just to get a new watch face? How is that environmentally friendly? What? How is Tim Apple holding a sword to your throat? Is that how they're making you? No, you're not required to. You don't need to. If the only upgrade from one to the other is a watch face, don't spend your money on it. Don't do it. Okay, that is it.